Welcome to another segment of All About Animals. We're back at the Harris Nature Center with Kati Adams, the Senior Park Naturalist, and their newest addition. Kati, tell us about your crow, Onyx.
Yeah, Onyx is an American crow, and he's still kind of a baby. I think he's about 1 now. It's really hard for us to know when animals show up here, but Onyx is his injury and reason for being unreleasable. Is he is imprinted, which is basically a mind injury, if you will. He was around humans at a very, very young age and pretty much thinks that's what he is. So he doesn't know how to be a crow very well, and that makes it a little difficult for him to be out in the wild. So he's our greeter now at the front door.
Okay, and when did you get Onyx?
Onyx came to us, I believe, in July of this year, 2019, and he was in rehabilitation. He was at Wildside Animal Rehabilitation in Eaton Rapids for about a year prior to that.
Okay, and prior to being on camera, you told me that people found him and that's how he imprinted. Tell us a little bit about if you find a bird, what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, so a lot of humans have a really big, great heart, and so we can't help but want to help the things that we find. And so Onyx was a baby, not a lot of feathers, not much in the way of wing feathers especially, was not learning to fly, and these people that found him tried to take care of him out of the kindness of their heart, and when they discovered it was a little hard to do, they called Wildside, and Wildside took over. But by then, he had been learning from his humans that had rescued him how to be a person instead of how to be a crow. So they really do need their parents. Just like we do. And so if you do find a baby bird, the best thing to do, or an injured bird, or any kind of wildlife, not just birds, you should look for licensed wildlife rehabilitation centers. The Harris Nature Center is not licensed to take them, but we can certainly give advice and phone numbers if you can't find them. So they can always call us too.
Okay, and he's not quite trained yet to be handled, so what are we going to do today?
Well, we'll feed him. We'll give him, he likes to, take some food out of your hand, and we'll just see what he does. We'll try to play with him. A lot of times when it comes to food, though, he doesn't want to play, so.
Okay, before we do that, tell us a little bit about the enclosure and how he is your greeter. He's the first thing you see when you get to the Harris Nature Center.
Yeah, so this space that we put the cage in was unused space. We had a little bit of garden in here, but the back part of it, you weren't able to grow anything anyway. So we thought, well, this is great. Crows are very social creatures, and since he has to be the only crow in the cage, he needs to socialize with people. So we thought right here by the front door would be perfect because he would see people all the time, every day, even when we're closed, and that's really actually good for his mind. So we rounded up some volunteers that are super duper handy. My husband, Scott Adams, and my father-in-law, Dave Adams, actually built this enclosure for us this spring. Took a lot of work, a lot of sweat, but it's gorgeous. They did a great job. There's a lot that goes into creating an exhibit for a bird. A lot of things outside that you have to consider, like predators. Mm-hmm. So it's not just throwing up some fencing and being done with it. There's actually fencing that's buried in the ground, bent outward to keep things from being able to dig in and getting in here after the bird. The size of the fencing and what it's made out of is really important so that raccoons can't get inside and hurt the bird. And then, of course, it also has to be able to keep the bird in. So
Right, so you have a double door system so people can see from the outside and through the window, right?
Eventually, yep. So because he's still new, we haven't been opening the library window, but that will be a viewing point for people in the near future so they can see him from inside or outside.
Okay, well, Onyx, I'm kind of afraid of birds, so we'll see how this goes. So let's.
Fantastic.
Thank you. So go ahead and do your feeding, and let's see how he does.
So he gets a variety of food. That's what's really fun about him. He's going to eat a lot of human food like vegetables. He likes his greens, different kinds of lettuce, peas, beans, like all kinds of different things. He likes fruit.
Humans should take note of this.
Right? Eating healthy, but he also likes animals, so he likes to eat a lot of insects. We give him mealworms every other day. He gets mice and quail and chicks and A lot of different things. So today we've got some bugs and some nuts like walnuts, peanuts, cashews. He's kind of spoiled. He's got some vegetables in here and his mice for today.
Okay. So. All right. Sounds good. Okay, Onyx. I know, right?
So the other thing that we try to do is we give him a lot of enrichment, like even when we're not here. So he actually has a Kong made for dogs.
Like a dog Kong, okay.
And we usually take that second piece of animal food and shove it in the Kong so that he
can play with it later.
Yeah, he has to work his way into it.
Okay. Why is it important to have enrichment items?
Well, for all of our animals, with them not being in the wild anymore and not having this expansive habitat or ecosystem to live in and things to watch and that kind of thing, they have to have something that keeps them stimulated so that they don't get bored and depressed, which can happen just like with humans. So giving him a lot of things to do in here is really important for a bird with a brain like that. Crows are extremely intelligent, so it's important for us to keep him involved with life in general. So another reason why being by the front door is helpful for him, because he gets to interact with people all the time. He does get visitors, crow visitors. Oh. So there are a couple crows that live around here that
they come and hang out with him?
Come and hang out with him, yeah. And some days we'll come in and they'll be sitting on the roof, just chilling, just looking at him. They're not picking on him, they're not harassing him, they just kind of hang out with him, which is really a cool thing to see, because maybe he's got a flock of his own and they'll just kind of come and see him. So.
Okay, it doesn't look like he can fly very well.
No.
So he is, so you said something about he just got his feather? I don't.
Yeah, so shortly after we got him, he finished growing his flight feathers. So that was kind of a new thing for him, being only one. And without having parent birds to teach him how to fly, he's kind of having to figure it out on his own. So he's done pretty well. He is able to fly throughout the cage when he feels like it, but he's not confident. So that's kind of the thing that we're seeing now, is he's like, I want to do it, but I'm not really sure I'm going to make it, you know. Right. And sometimes it's a little bit of a crash and burn, but that's also the reason why we gave him such a large enclosure, because we knew he was going to be flighted.
Okay.
If he wasn't flighted, it would probably be half the size.
So you have a tennis ball. He's not going to be fetching or anything, but how do you...
Sometimes, and I don't know if I can get him to play with me today, but sometimes if we sit on the ground with him, he'll throw it back and forth.
Really? Okay. Before we do that, I had one other question. So you've added the crow to the mix. You have a lot of animals you take care of. How do you do it all, and kind of what's your routine?
Oh my goodness. So the routine actually changes every day. So every animal here has a different feeding schedule. Some of our animals don't even eat every day, especially the reptiles. It takes their bodies a long time to digest what they've eaten. And again, without living in the wild, that process is slowed down even more. So depending on the animal, they may get food every single day, and sometimes they don't. Some days there's cleaning, some days there's just touching up the tanks, but every day is anywhere from 1 to 3 hours dedicated just to the animal care. So it's a busy part of the day.
Pretty intense. He looks like he's getting like pretty excited. Maybe he will play with you.
He's you know what they really like is they like shiny.
Oh, okay.
So if you've ever heard that, if people have ever heard that, they do collect shiny things in nature. So whether somebody dropped a quarter in the parking lot or, God forbid, your wedding ring or something, they'll take it. And they'll bring it to the nest, and they actually they present shiny things to the ones that they love.
Oh, that's so really cute.
Yeah. So he's kind of fun. He gets excited.
Oh, look at him.
He does spend a little bit of time trying to figure out how to get that one off. And I probably shouldn't admit it, but I've tried to show him how to do it with my mouth.
So Kati is one with the bird. Okay. Anything else you want to tell us about the crow and just his personality?
Yeah, well, he's kind kind of a sweetheart. He does have his favorites, and the thing about crows and ravens as well is they remember faces. So he will always remember who you are. And they take that to heart. So if somebody hurts them in the wild, they remember who you are forever.
That's
it's
crazy.
Incredible. So if you're kind to them, they also remember that too.
Okay, so how many people actually come in here and not handle him, but...
Right. All of our staff are trained to come in and feed. So currently right now there's about 4 of us that do that. So
Okay, so he at least has 4 favorite people.
he does. Yeah. Yep. And he's an everyday eater, so somebody has to be here even when we're closed. So yeah.
Okay. Have the volunteers or have the visitors said anything about him yet, or what the feedback has been?
They just love him. When he first got here, he spent a lot of time down low because he couldn't figure out how to get up here, and he eventually did that on his own. But I don't know what that was. But so in the beginning, people were like, is there something in that cage out there? And they couldn't see him. They didn't know where he was. But now they just love him. And what my favorite thing about summer camp is he literally greeted children as they walked up to the building. He would caw at every single child. And it was really fun because he was actually being our greeter like we wanted him to.
Okay, Onyx. Well, thank you so much, Katie, and we'll see if he'll play with us or anything. Thank you. And thank you for watching.